Everybody, happy Monday night. Not that anyone says that. Thought I would do a video, so here we are. First things first, what is the topic on tonight? Well, I'm not sure if you can see it. Either way, I'll tell you, it is on my top 5 favorite Universal monsters. Because why not have a list on this fun little topic, right? Full disclosure, obviously there are 6 main Universal monsters, so one may squeeze in there with another one. So yeah, without further ado, my top 5 favorite Universal monsters. I don't know why the screen's being like this. Hold on. There we go. It's a little better. All right. Coming in at number 5, The Mummy. Now I know what you're thinking. Justin, don't you like Egyptian stuff? Don't you have an Egyptian section right below your television that has a sarcophagus where a mummy would go? Yep. Why is The Mummy only number 5? Well, have I seen The Mummy more than 5 times? The original with Boris Karloff? Probably. But it's one of those movies that I tend to find myself playing on my phone. I know, crazy, huh? I definitely have to appreciate it more. Whether it's on Svengoolie and I catch it, or I happen to see it on Tubi or whatever, right? Regular channels. Just can't really. It's just not one of my favorites. He's just not one of my favorite characters, and that's partly because I just don't really watch it enough. I don't really care for it. And I know there's the whole like Brendan Fraser series, that's The Mummy, and then the Tom Cruise one, and they're making another one. Full disclosure, call me crazy, never saw the ones with Brendan Fraser. I saw bits and pieces of them. Never saw the one with Tom Cruise. You're really missing out. Yeah, I know. I probably am. I probably am. So, it's funny because I have watched. Actually, that's not true. I have watched The Mummy at least once or twice because obviously I watched The Scorpion King with The Rock, and that was his first full feature movie that he was in, and he came from The Mummy. So, or The Mummy Returns, whichever. So yeah, coming in at number 5 for my top 5 favorite Universal monsters, The Mummy. Coming in at number 4, we have the Invisible Man and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. I told you I'm going to have to fit one in there. The Invisible Man, I mean, obviously he's not a universal. I suppose he's a universal monster. He acts like a monster, even though we can't see him. I like him though, because Basil Rathbone plays him, and he's a great actor. If you don't know who he is, back in the day. The great thing about the Invisible Man isn't the fact that he's invisible, in my opinion. Like that's a given. I like him because aside from being invisible, the serum also makes him crazy, where he's just causing mischief and killing people all over town. Nobody notices until the end when he's caught because the footprints are in the snow. Will they get him? Genius. And he's all bandaged up and stuff. And the woman, when he takes off his bandages, and the woman freaks out. Priceless, right? Gotta love it. Gotta love it, right? Creature from the Black Lagoon. I mean, I like the Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's why it's number 4. After the first one, though, it's just kind of like the Creature Returns or whatever, and he's on land and he's all puffy and stuff. Like I've seen that one more times than I would like to admit. It's not bad. The first one is the classic, right? And I just love the music. Da-na-na, da-na-na. It's just an absolute classic. And the amount of times that like they come across the creature and they try to stop him, but he needs to remain in the water, but he tries to bring them into the water with him and take down their boat. I just like he's a fun, lovable character, right? The other thing that doesn't, the one thing that doesn't get mentioned in the Creature from the Black Lagoon is the fact that there's like one woman and there's like four guys in the ship and they all like hit on her, and one guy's very forward and he ends up getting her. It's just like total, um, whenever the movie was made, right? The 40s and 50s. It's total like 40s and 50s flirting, and it's just it's creepy. Like, if you ever watch Creature from the Black Lagoon, pay attention to what I think the main guy, I forgot his name, but what the main guy does to try to win over the girl, it's just so weird. And even the creature likes the girl, which is kind of funny. But yeah, number four, the Invisible Man, and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Coming in at number three, the Wolfman. Lon Chaney Jr., of course, mostly known for playing the Wolfman. He's the only Lon Chaney Jr., fun fact, is the only actor to play all five, I believe, of the Universal monsters: Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and the Mummy. Yeah, I don't think he played the creature or the Invisible Man, but the main four, yeah. So, the Wolfman coming in at number three, it's a sad tale, like the original one is anyway, with Lon Chaney Jr., and he's the Wolfman. He's not, I mean, he's a werewolf, but he kills people, he's rabid, and he's just he's cursed. And he's sad, he's desperate, he's depressed, kind of wants to kill himself. That's not really, it's not really apparent, it's not like out there, but you kind of get the sense that he wants to off himself because he doesn't want to be cursed by turning into a wolf man every night, when the moon is bright. I should have had the thing ready to go, but I could bring it up on my phone, but I won't. But yeah, he's fun and he's lovable, but at the same time, he's a freak of nature. He's a menace, and he's going to be put out of his misery. And it's a sad tale, but also classic. So coming in at number three for my top five favorite Universal monsters, we have the Wolfman. Coming in at number two, Frankenstein's monster. Not Frankenstein. The amount of times that I hear people say, "Oh, it's Frankenstein, it's Frankenstein." No, 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 no. The monster does not have a name in most instances. In the book, he does not have a name. In the movie, he does not have a name. In later versions and adaptations of movies, he does. It's like Eric or something stupid like that, something basic, right? Boris Karloff plays Frankenstein's monster in the classic, the first one, the one with oh God, Clive. Oh my God, Clive. Oh my God, it's at the tip of my tongue. The guy that plays Dr. Frankenstein. It's Clive something. We only care about Boris Karloff. I know, but I want to show you my expertise in Universal monsters and actors. Colin Clive. Oh, there we go. So I was somewhat close. Uh, so Boris Karloff, of course, absolutely brilliant actor of his time. This is the movie that really put Boris Karloff on the map and into stardom. I believe he was only introduced on the credits as Karloff. So, air conditioner. Don't know if you heard that, but anyway, yeah, only introduced as Karloff. He went on to star in so many more movies. However, he's not the only actor to play Frankenstein's monster. There's also Peter Strange, Lon Chaney Jr., and I believe there might have been one more in there, but Boris Karloff is the most mainly known one, and he also plays the Mummy. So you can't go wrong with Frankenstein's monster, right? The controversial line in the movie this is what it must feel like to be God. Back in 1931, when this movie was released, they cut that scene out because they thought, this guy saying this what it's like to be God was just too controversial. So Frankenstein's monster, again, like the Wolfman, I would argue very lovable in his own weird way. He's a monster, yes. He kills, but he doesn't know that he kills. He knows not what he does, right? Fun-loving idiot, you could call him, although no one's ever referred to Frankenstein's monster that way, although maybe they have. Basically, he just wants to fit in. He just wants to understand who he is. And yeah, in Frankenstein's monster, we get that sense of like the longing to belong, right? In Frankenstein's Bride, or the Bride of Frankenstein, fun fact, we only see the Bride of Frankenstein for the last 10 minutes of the film. Yes, I'm aware the actress that plays the bride also plays another character at the beginning of the film, but I'm talking about the actual Bride of Frankenstein. We don't see her until the last 10 minutes of the film. And she rejects him. She rejects him. But the Frankenstein monster character is just I'm not going to say a classic and sound cliche, because I always say the same words. He's a masterpiece. He's, the epitome of a universal character. And he comes in at number 2. So obviously you know who number 1 is. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my number 1 favorite universal monster character, Dracula. Played by the legendary Bela Lugosi. Dracula is the one film that I have probably seen well over a dozen times. And it's one of those films that just kind of sort of stays with you, And it's, in my opinion, it's one of the oldest films that people still appreciate today, along with Frankenstein. Like if you're into the Universal monsters, you love all of them. But if you tend to only like Frankenstein or Dracula because you like Frankenstein's monster and Dracula, you still watch these. Like most people, if they love the monster Frankenstein and Dracula, they don't care that these movies were made in the 30s or 40s because they're like, well, I love all adaptations of these creatures and these monsters, so I'm going to keep watching these. This was Bela Lugosi's first major role. So if my memory serves me correctly, Bela Lugosi played Dracula on Broadway, or like not Broadway, but like in a play or whatever. There was like a small little adaptation of it, and the director of Dracula saw him and liked it so much that he asked him to play Dracula in his film. This is his most iconic role. He doesn't really get a lot of credit, and Bela Lugosi kind of gets lost in a shuffle in later years, playing these. He's thrown these scrap roles, but he delivers on all cylinders, right? And then, of course, in his final years, he was one of Ed Wood's prime actors that he would get to star in his movies. But when it comes to Dracula, you tend to think of Bela Lugosi right away. Some people think of Gary Oldman for Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. That's perfectly fine. I think of Bela Lugosi, who was apparently buried in his Dracula cape. And during his funeral, I think two of the what's his name? Peter Lorre and Boris Karloff joked, like, oh, should we put a stake through him just to be sure? Like, apparently that really happened. That was an actual thing. So he is actually apparently buried in his Dracula cape, which is just so great. What can you say about the film? What can I say about the film? classic masterpiece. To me, it still lives up to this day. You can't go wrong. You throw it on, you see it on, you keep it on. It's one of those films. And also the great battle between Dracula and Van Helsing. There's a couple of scenes in here, no matter how many times I watch them, they always come off as awkward to me. Like the whole scene where he sees his reflection in the mirror, and he doesn't know that he sees his reflection. Well, he doesn't know that he doesn't see his reflection, and Van Helsing notices this, and he brings it to his attention, and he's just kind of like, and then he makes up some weird excuse. I must retire now. I am sorry. I must go. And it's not bad acting on Bela Lugosi's part. It's just an awkward scene because I imagine they just kind of had to improvise of like, well, that was really weird. Why did he do that? And he's just like, I gotta go now. Or then he leaves outside when he does leave, and then Jonathan Harker goes out to the porch and he's like, oh, there's a wolf running on the lawn. Yes, Jonathan, that's Dracula. Also, the way that Mina acts is kind of like, I know I'm ripping it, right? But it's like, don't get me wrong, this is also what makes it good, right? Because I can remember a scene so distinctively because I've seen it so many times. But like Mina's like attraction to Dracula, it's there, but it's not as good as Francis Ford Coppola's when Winona Ryder is playing Mina. Like that's hard to top right there. But yeah, so there's a lot of good scenes too, like when Renfield comes to see him. That's freaking classic. Good old Dwight Fry. Oh man. So coming in at number 1 for my favorite Universal monster character, Dracula. So there you have it, my top 5 favorite Universal monsters. Number 5, the Mummy. Number 4, the Invisible Man and Creature from the Black Lagoon. Number 3, the Wolfman. Number 2, Frankenstein's monster. And number 1, Dracula. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit subscribe so you notice anytime I go live. And I will probably be back for another video really soon, maybe even tonight. Not sure. But until then, have a good one.